This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast.
Welcome to Finish Lines and Milestones, a podcast that celebrates the everyday runner. I'm your host, Allie Bretnacher. If you run, you are a runner, and every runner has a story. Join me each week as I share these stories, and we cross finish lines and celebrate milestones together. This episode is brought to you by Bitch Sticks. Bitch Sticks is sold in over 5,000 stores nationwide, but was founded in Indiana, Zionsville, Indiana, to be exact. And Bitch Sticks is a self-care brand that cares about people, communities, and the world. You're probably asking, why bitch? On her journey to the Supreme Court, Ruth Bader Ginsburg became known among some of her male colleagues as bitch. And when she found out, she responded, "Better a bitch than a mouse." I love that. And so their mission is a call to action to transform a bad word into a force for good. And each year, Bitch Stick donates thousands of dollars to nonprofits that support survivors of domestic abuse and sexual assault. They work with their retailers locally in communities around the country to find organizations that need the most help. So when you support them, you're also supporting an incredible mission and cause, and you get great products. So be like me and go buy yourself the Athlete Good Luck gift set. I couldn't help myself. I just had to have products that I have not tried yet. So I've used their Quit Your Bitchin' Muscle Rub. That's included. It's amazing. They also include a big Bitch Sticks face SPF stick, anti-chafe stick. I've never used that. It's called Son of a Bitch. So I'm going to try that as well. And then, of course, a couple of lip balms that have SPF 30 in them. Seriously, how can you have enough lip balm? I have it everywhere and my kids steal it. So I need as much as I can get. Use code Allie, ALLY, B as in boy, at checkout, and you'll get 20% off of your order. Thank you, Bitch Sticks, for supporting this podcast and our upcoming event, which you will hear about momentarily. Hello and welcome to episode 99. This is Allie, and I can't believe it's episode 99. That means, next week is 100 episodes. And according to Google, only 4.92%, that's less than 5% of podcasts make it this far. So that's pretty cool. When I first started, I never imagined that I would have 100 episodes, and it feels like it flew by. So if you haven't yet, go in the archives. There's such good stories there, and I'll be sure to resurface some of those in conjunction with this big milestone. So hooray. I'm celebrating by having Lindsay Hine from I'll Have Another with Lindsay Hine on the podcast. Lindsay has been podcasting for 8 years. She's the mom of 4 boys. She interviews all the pros that you know. She's incredible. And I get to work with her now because of Sandy Boy Productions and the fact that Finish Lines and Milestones is a part of that family. So I thought it'd be a perfect way to celebrate. And speaking of Lindsay Hine, Lindsay and I are co-hosting an event the evening before the Indianapolis Indy Mini, which will be May 2nd, Friday. It's from 4:30 to 6:30. We'll have some mingling, then a live podcast, then some more mingling, but a great way to bring the Indy running community together. Tickets go on sale Monday, so this next Monday, if you're listening to this on Friday the 14th, they'll go on sale Monday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, at noon, and tickets will be $25 a piece. The goodie bags already include more than that in terms of product, so it'll be well worth the money and the time, and the perfect thing to do after you grab your packet and before you go to dinner. So you can find that link in the show notes on my social media, Allie, ALLY, Brett, BRETT _runs. And I will be certain to remind you over and over again until May 2nd. So that is if we still have tickets, I guess. Special thanks to our early sponsors who joined us: Athletic Annex, Bitch Sticks, Previnex, and Transcend Training and Performance. So appreciate you. There's still time if you want to sponsor. Just let me know. And now I get to talk about another event that has already passed, but it was our very first Team RMR, Rachel Michelle Running, my running coach, running retreat. And so it was a full day event from 11 to 5 and jam-packed with such great content. As somebody who's been running for a long time, I always tend to think, well, what else do I need to learn? And turns out there's just always so much more that I can learn to continue to get better as an athlete and as a human. And I will hopefully be writing a recap about what I learned, because I did take a lot of notes. But the lineup was with Jacob Crow. He's Tempo Sports. He talked about injury prevention and recovery. We have Jackie Dykus, who was on this podcast. She is a nutritionist and just incredible. Train with Transcend was Whitney Miller, and Whitney talked about race day mindset. Vince Auten. Vince has Invincible Coaching, and he's a life coach, and so he talked about that and also about mindset too. So a lot of good information from those guys. And then I got to do my first live podcast with Kelby Laughner, who is just simply incredible. I'm in awe of her. And, you know, I said this in the beginning of the recording, but she kind of stretches the limit of being an everyday runner because she's really not. She runs in the elite corral many times. So I kind of broke that rule, but she is an everyday runner in the sense that she's a mom, she has a full-time 9-to-5 job, and she's not paid to run. So pretty cool. And Kelby ran the Olympic Trials Marathon in 2020, pregnant, 27 weeks pregnant. Just insane. And she made it under the cutoff, which is 3 hours and 15 minutes, like jaw to the floor. Hard to imagine doing all of that pregnant with your first child. And she's currently pregnant, expecting her third baby in August of this year. So I was so lucky to meet Kelby before this for coffee and got to know her and continued to get to know her through this interview, which is shorter than my normal interviews because we only had an hour. So perhaps at some point we'll catch up with Kelby again, but I hope you enjoy this conversation with Kelby Laughner.
As part of our retreat day today, I thought it would be really fun to have on someone that is relatable to all of us, someone that's an athlete, but also has other responsibilities in life and all the demands that we have, and just get some further insights to her life and her training and just some of the amazing accomplishments that she has done. So a little bit about Kelby. We worked together at Delta Faucet many years ago, 6 or so probably, when I worked there. And I specifically remember in 2018 when you did Carmel and then you were the first female finisher, and I was like, that is so amazing. Like, how is this person like real? And then you did Boston that year too. And I remember like at work, we all like, cause it was on a Monday, so we were at work and we all had it on and we're like, I was watching it and stuff. And like, I can't believe I know someone running the Boston Marathon. Yeah. And it was like the crazy, terrible year weather, like when Des won and everything. And I hadn't even run a marathon myself at that point. And I was planning to do Chicago that year. And I was like, I want to do Boston one day. Like, I am going to do this and stuff. Amazing. So it was just like very inspiring to me. Aww, so just felt appropriate to bring you in today. So,
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Great job, everyone.
Yay! That's fun. I'll use that like as a special effect. So I never have done a live podcast before.
Me neither.
So this is great. Or a podcast or a podcast in general. Yes. It's so great, which I can't believe. So for anybody in this room who has not listened to Finish Lines and Milestones, the whole premise is interviewing kind of the everyday runner. And when I say everyday, I mean non-elite, but Kelby is kind of elite. She's pushing the boundary a little bit in terms of being your typical everyday runner. If you did not know this, because I didn't know this when we grabbed coffee, Kelby ran the Olympic Trials Marathon at 27 weeks pregnant?
At 27 weeks pregnant.
At 27 weeks pregnant. I feel like you just mic drop and we're done. Like, so incredible.
Yeah.
And how many weeks are you today?
I'm 17. It's much harder to keep track the third time around.
Do you know what fruit or vegetable you are at this moment?
No, I have not looked. No.
Okay. Feel free to Google, everybody, so we know.
I'm gonna Google.
Yeah, because when we met for coffee, I didn't know you were pregnant either. So for anybody in this room who does not know you, can you just give us a little bit of like who you are, where you're from, your kiddos?
Of course.
It's going to be so fun.
Yeah. Feel free to interrupt me as I go through if I leave anything out.
Perfect.
But so I'm from Frankfort, Indiana. It's about an hour north of Indy, and my parents still live in the same house, so grew up there my whole life. Then went to college and ran cross country at University of Evansville. They are a D1 school, so it was a pretty cool opportunity to go to a smaller school, which I was looking for, but also have the opportunity to run for a D1 school. So
what's the mascot?
the Purple Aces.
Cool.
Yes. So I loved running in college. I really learned to love running because entering high school, I hated running. I didn't want anything to do with it. I was a big soccer player. That was my passion. That was where all my friends were. That's where I loved playing on a team and being a part of that. And so I've always played soccer in the fall, but then my parents were like, you have to go out for a track. Because I had done cross country and track in middle school. But I wasn't like, I was good at it, but I wasn't like a huge fan of running.
That's crazy.
So I told my parents, I'll go out for a track freshman year, but I'm only going to do the 800. I don't want to do anything else. I just wanted to be lazy, I guess. So I started there and developed a better talent for it and decided, okay, I'm kind of good at this. I kind of like it. And my love grew from there. And I was really interested then senior year of going to a college and playing a sport, whether that was soccer or running. So I just ended up at UE and I'm really glad that I did and got to run there. Made some great lifelong friends as well. So senior year of high school, started dating my current husband.
Crazy.
And
High school
I
sweethearts.
know, it's been a long time in a good way. So he joined the Army right after school. So he joined the National Guard. Currently is still working for the Army. And then so we dated all through college. He went to Purdue, so it was long distance for a long time.
Yeah. How did you do that as a collegiate athlete and then having a boyfriend? Did he come down a lot?
He always
How far
came
was
to
that
me.
drive?
It's from West Lafayette, it would have been like 4.5 hours.
Okay.
So yeah.
Fun for him.
I know. He did a lot for me. And then we had the summers. We both grew up in Frankfort, so and our houses are like 3 miles apart. So we always had the
adorable.
summers.
Did your parents know each other?
Kind of.
Okay.
Like we knew of them because Frankfort is sort of small, but not like close.
Okay.
Let's see. So graduated from school. I studied finance and accounting, and then started work in Indy at Ernst & Young. Worked there for 3 years. Josh and I got married in 2015. In 2015, let's see, I graduated 14. Okay, I ran my first marathon in 2015, so the year after I graduated.
Okay. And so in college, typically as a collegiate runner, do you do both track and cross country, or how did that work?
Typically, yes, but I really liked UE because they didn't have a track program. And I thought if they made me do, because usually schools have cross country and then you do indoor track and then outdoor track.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh my gosh, that's way too much for me. One season's enough. I still ran and trained in the spring and we did some off track meets, but they didn't have track at that time. So it was a good balance. But now I wish I had some track times, but it was good at the time. It was a good balance.
And what was your first marathon?
I ran Monumental.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
did.
2015.
Yes. And I actually got a good picture of it the year before. I had a friend run it or my college teammate run it the year before, and I jumped in with her. And I was like, I'll go 10 miles with you, on the course. And then I ended up doing 19. And that was, the longest I'd ever, ran before. And so I was like, okay, I knew I wanted to do it, but now, I really want to do it.
I mean, how pissed are you? You run 19 miles, you don't even get a medal.
Yeah, they tried to give me one because I went through the finish.
Yeah,
but
and you're like, no thanks.
No, don't give me one.
Well, that's good. Thank you for not stealing a medal.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, that's so crazy. 19 miles with your friend.
Yeah, and I always liked going farther. I always thought that was cool. And so I knew I always wanted to eventually do a marathon.
So when you ran 19 miles in Monumental, had you ever run a half?
Yes, I've done half.
When was your first half marathon?
Actually, 8th grade. I
Get
did
out
a
of
half
here.
marathon.
You might have told me that, but I totally
don't know
forgot.
why we did. Okay, so why I even got into running in the first place was my dad. He used to run when we were kids. In Frankfort, we had a YMCA, and there's a track at the top. And I remember my sisters and I would go and just waddle behind him and run. I don't even know how far we went, but we would just be little ducklings following him around the track.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That was one of my first runs ever.
He probably loved that because you were confined,
races.
so you couldn't go anywhere. So he's just I'll just keep running and you can just be in this area.
Yeah, exactly. Wear
That's
us out.
wild.
And then he did the Indy Mini. I remember watching it on TV when we were really little, and he was at the race. I'm like, we were trying to look for him, like in the on the TV, like Dad's there. Thought it was so cool. So yeah, that's how like running was even like a part of, or in my mind.
Yeah.
And then my brother wanted to do cross country in 6th grade, and yeah, I just did whatever he did at that point. So
Yeah. Okay. So siblings. Do you have a brother and a sister?
Yes. I have an older brother, and I have twin sisters that are
Twin
younger.
sisters. Okay. How old are they?
They're
Or like how much younger, I guess?
31.
Okay.
So,
I know it's hard for me to
I'm
remember.
33. So like they're
how
like
old my
2 years
sisters are.
younger,
Okay.
and my brother's 2 years older.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and I'm the oldest, and it's like 2 years and 2 years.
Yeah.
But I can barely remember how old I am.
I
And
know,
then when people
right?
ask me how old my sisters are, I'm like, I don't know, 2 years
I'm turning
less.
33. Okay,
Oh.
so I'm 30. Am I?
See,
Yeah,
this is what
I'm
happens.
32.
Good job. Okay. I know. I swear, people ask me, I'm like, I think I'm 38 still, and then then I'll be 39.
I never thought I would be one of those people. I'm like, how do you forget how old you are?
Well, and
But
you're a numbers
it
girl,
happens.
so I
Yes,
feel like you
that's
should really be on top of that.
Yes, I don't do math in my head.
Yeah.
I use a calculator. Okay.
Right? Do you carry one on the run? Because I feel like running math is a whole nother level of math.
Yeah,
right?
It totally is. Yes. Not at the, I think the one time I've done running math is like when I was going after the Olympic trials qualifier and I had like 2 miles left and like 14 minutes. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, like
I could
that's
break
going to
that
work.
down. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to get too far ahead of
Back up,
myself
yes.
because I want to talk about Olympic trials qualifying and all of
Okay.
that. But okay, 8th grade, first half marathon. Was it the Indy Mini that was your first half
Yeah,
marathon?
yeah.
Okay. And
I
did
did
you
with
run
a
it with your
friend.
dad or no? Your
No, I
friend?
did it with a friend and we like did 10-minute miles or something. It was really, really slow.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. A relative. I'm so sorry. I did not mean it like that. Compared to my future times, it was slow for me.
No, that's fine. Lena's like, cool. That's
That
like
was
my
really
PR
mean to
pace or more. No, that's not mean to say. It's all relative. Slow for
I'm
you.
talking about myself, not anyone
People
else.
know what
It
you
was
mean.
slow. Okay.
Right? You know what she meant. Yeah. She hates you now.
Okay.
But, okay, so you ran with your friend.
Yes.
And had she ever run? Was it her first
No,
race
it's
too?
her first too.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We just thought it was a cool adventure to do, and
Yeah.
I remember running on the
8th
treadmill
grade.
in our basement. Like I
To
don't even know what
train?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember if you ran like 10 miles before or what
Yeah,
you...
I think I ran like 8 miles actually.
Okay.
Yeah, on a treadmill.
And then you're like, I got this. I'm in 8th grade.
I don't remember too much
That's
about
crazy.
it.
Did you do it every year after that then, or did you just do it once?
I just did it that one time, and then I think the next time was like in college. So like we didn't have track, so like
Yeah.
I trained for it one time. Our coach wasn't like too keen on us like training super hard or going too much
bet.
farther. So
I bet.
yeah.
Now, what were some of maybe the highlights of your collegiate career?
Oh yeah, those are really good times. I miss it. First of all, just being on the team, just had automatic friends. It was great. We had so many good times traveling on the bus. I remember we had meets all over, like 10-hour bus rides sometimes.
10 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know I really liked bus rides, so I was good with it.
And what were the events that you did in college?
So it's just the 5K in cross country at that time,
Okay.
and then for regionals we did a 6K.
Okay. What's that?
What's a 6K?
Yeah, how many miles?
3.6, I guess.
Okay.
3.6, 3.7. So I was going into freshman year. I was scared, had low expectations. I had never ran a full cross country season before because I only did soccer. So it was all pretty new to me.
How'd you get on the team?
So senior year of high school, I did half cross country, half soccer. I did both in the same season.
How?
And I did that because I was maybe interested in running in college, and I just wanted to try out. A lot of people encouraged me, and I figured out, okay, I do like this, so I'm going to do it. I don't know, I just did cross-country meets basically, and then went to soccer practice.
Okay.
I only went to the meets or something like that. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so...
I wish I would have gotten to do that. I was a soccer player too in high school. Mhm.
Yeah, cross-country was fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had times to apply, so...
Okay. Did you go to Evansville with any friends? Did you know anybody from your high school that went?
No, I did not. It was, kind of shocking at first. But I knew, being on a cross-country team, I would, have automatic friends.
Mm-hmm. Where'd your brother go? Did you say
He
Purdue?
went to Purdue.
Purdue, okay. All right.
And then freshman year, my roommate moved out before school started, so I was by myself for a while, which most people would like. But
Right.
I was my freshman year, I'm I don't have any friends.
Yeah, you're I'd kind of like to not be alone. That'd be cool.
So, but
Why did she
anyways,
move out before school started?
I got homesick, I think.
She just
Because we had
panicked.
a welcome, you have a welcome the freshman or something period, And yeah, I don't know. Just got homesick. But anyway, cross country was great.
Weird.
So highlights from college cross country would be I got the 5K school record. So that was a really cool thing.
Does that still stand?
No, it got broken maybe like 8 years later.
Okay.
So it did for a while.
That's good. Yeah. And what was that? Do you remember the time?
Yeah, 17:27.
Wow. That's fast.
And I've beaten that time since then.
Okay. Tell me
Not
you were
under
pregnant at the
cross-country.
time or something?
No, it was last year.
Okay. Holy moly. That's amazing.
So yeah, I mean, I was top of the team and I had a lot of fun. I don't know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And did you, forgive my ignorance
No,
with
it's
like,
okay.
God, I mean, track, cross country, I like still am learning when I talk to people about it. But did you go to like, there's like regionals and state and like what other kinds of levels were you striving for on the team?
There was conference.
Okay.
So we were in the MBC at the time. So I think I placed top 10 one year.
Okay.
And I think that in my senior year, I had higher expectations. Senior year, I put a lot of pressure on myself. And so I kind of like collapsed at the big, not physically collapsed, but like just was putting so much pressure on myself. Like I tensed up and couldn't perform because I perform best when I'm relaxed and having fun. So
yes, I know. Don't we all?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had regionals, which regionals you could qualify for nationals.
Okay. Yeah.
So for a team, we weren't even close to qualifying for nationals. So you could individually, if you made, I think it was the top 25. Junior year, I was 33rd. And so I thought, wow, I have a chance, senior year to make it. And then again, I just put too much pressure on myself and like had stomach cramps during the race and like finished late, like 93rd or something. So it was what it was.
Did you ever have aspirations to run professionally?
No, I never thought I was good enough.
Okay.
No, I had a passion for it still. Wanted to keep running, but I knew I was not good enough.
Yeah. So first marathon was after you graduated.
Yes.
Okay. That was at Monumental. How was
2015.
your first marathon? It's kind of like your second because you did 19 miles
Yeah.
before, but
I don't really remember the training, but the actual day itself, I love the first marathon or any like first time you do a distance is great because you don't have any expectations of yourself. You're just going in, relax. Like this is supposed to be a fun experience. You're doing this for fun. And so I just had the best time. My goal was under 3 hours and I got 2 hours and 53 minutes or something
you
like
crushed that.
So yeah, had a blast.
Yeah. How did you celebrate?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think I went out with my family that evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then were you, after that first marathon, just like, okay, this is amazing. Like
this.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Were you being coached at that point?
Yes.
When did you find Matt Ebersol?
It's a good question. Oh, okay. So I had a doctor friend from Frankfurt who actually was a really good runner, and I ran with him once in a while during the summers, and he would go to Matt's team practices on Tuesday night. And so I think I went with him like 1 or 2 times. So that's how I kind of was aware of Matt. And then someone else recommended him. I can't remember. So that's all who I knew. And I knew I would like help. And I knew if I wanted to be as good as I thought I could be, like having a coach would be great. So yeah, reached out to him and went from there. So I've been coached by him since 2015. Or like 2014 probably.
Yeah.
A
decade or more. That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy now to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Monumental, what happened after Monumental?
I was just all in on running. I wanted to get faster.
Were you working, where were you working at the time? Ernst & Young?
Yeah, I was at Ernst & Young. So we did the crazy long hours in the winter. Don't miss that at all. It was a good working career experience. Definitely gave me a jumping off start the rest of my career. But yeah, it was very hard. It wasn't my favorite work, but I would get up early every morning and get my runs in. I remember a period I was traveling to Evansville every week. We had a client down there.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Back to college.
Yeah, I mean, they're Evansville, you should probably be on this client. So I'm okay, that's fine. It was great because I got a lot of hotel points and used a lot of my points to go on trips to Chicago and Boston for races. So it had perks.
That's a perk, yeah.
We would work from 8 to 10 p.m. to midnight. And I still got up at 5 a.m. every day and did my workouts. And now I look back and I'm I have no idea how I did that.
Yeah. Yeah, and all the while you have a boyfriend, like somewhere.
Oh,
were you guys
well, I
then
was
living
married.
together? You were married?
Yeah, we were married.
Okay, when did you
And
get
I got a
married
puppy
then?
And
Okay. What year did you, and what's your husband's name?
Josh.
When did you and Josh get married?
We got married in 2015, so this year will be our 10-year
you said that.
anniversary. Yeah.
Okay,
which is
how are you
crazy.
going to celebrate that?
We are going to Jamaica at the end of the month. I am so excited.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I feel like the first 2 pregnancies were, I loved them. They were great. This one, I'm like, what is
Get
happening?
me out of here.
Yeah.
Has this been your hardest one then?
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
I'm sorry.
And I wouldn't say it's even that hard. Like, it's probably just I'm already taking care of 2 kids
Totally.
and working and
Running.
I want to run. And then, like, the brain fog has been really bad and just tired.
Yeah.
But
And how old are your 2 other kids?
Atlas is 4, going to be 5 soon. And Senna is 2, going to be 3 soon.
Yeah. You're just
It's crazy.
just doing it all.
3-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then I want to touch on being an Army wife too. You and I talked
Yes.
about this when we first met.
Yes.
I find it so interesting because
Mm-hmm.
military has never been a part of my life. And so when I think about that, I mean, like I asked you a ton of questions because I had no idea what that even meant. So could
Yeah.
you tell people what that's like and like when, even just like when he told you he was going to go in the military
Yeah.
and kind of
Yeah.
take us through that?
Yeah, definitely. I don't remember the moment he told me. I think by the time we were dating, that was his plan to go into the Army or the National Guard. And so I knew that when we started dating. I knew he had to leave for basic and then AIT, which is like the school after basic for a while. So we started dating like March of our senior year. And then he left for basic training in June that summer. And then I didn't see him again until Christmas. So it was a whirlwind. We had to write letters. Like that was the only way to communicate.
Do you still have those? That's adorable.
Yeah.
So
They probably are so cheesy. Like I don't even know if
I
wanna
love
read
you
them.
and I miss your face.
Yeah.
I feel like
So cheesy.
you were kind of almost just prepared for being an Army wife by the nature of the fact that you were apart for like all those college years
Yeah.
too, kind of. I mean, I know obviously
Yes,
it's different.
definitely.
But
Yeah, it was tough, but like that's all we had known as well for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess we loved each other enough to
Yeah.
get through it. Yeah.
I really want to read those letters. That's so funny. You should find them. Do you know where they are?
Oh, yeah, I know where they are.
Okay. Please report back.
Maybe one day I'll take a picture. And
Want to be
maybe
like,
on our 10-year anniversary,
oh,
I'll
you
like
should
make
him
a post or
yeah,
something.
or you should like make Josh a scrapbook of your letters for him
Oh,
because
that
you know
would be a good idea.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Okay.
That'd be really
I'll
funny.
think about that. Okay.
Yeah. Or they have those like websites now you can like send it in and they scan it and make it like a book.
That's a good idea.
That'd be funny.
That would be really good.
I think about reading old like instant messages and stuff and it makes me crazy. Yeah.
Or like old Facebook posts,
Yes.
like memories come up. I'm like, why did I
Yeah.
say that?
Yeah, I
Post that?
recently-
Like,
I-
it's like
I-
a different Facebook.
It's a
time.
different human being who posted those. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
like, I don't know who that was.
Yeah, I think about that now when I post something. I'm like, in 5 years or 10 years, I'll be like, what was I?
Yeah, probably. It's fine.
Whatever.
Oh, well. Wow. Okay. And so you got married. How long until you had Atlas after you were
Yeah,
married?
so like first of all, his job, like he was just in the National Guard for a little bit and had like a real civilian job, did some weird things.
Like at a desk. and-
At a desk. He was a Kroger manager at one point, which is kind of funny to think about.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then he got the opportunity to work full time for the Army, like 2018, 2019 or something. So he's been doing that since then. So he's considered active duty since he works full time now for the Army. So we had Atlas in June of 2020. His birthday is June 1st of 2020.
Oh gosh, you poor thing. I forgot about the whole.
Oh, yeah, it was during
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different
That was
time.
terrifying, I'm sure, for having your first kid during I thought of
Yeah.
a lot of people during that time where like,
Yeah,
that would
it
be a really
was-
hard time.
It was odd. It was the hardest part was having him and then like asking the doc. I remember asking the doctor like, can my parents come and see the baby like at home? And now like that was like my worst fear that they would not allow like anyone to come see the baby.
Yeah.
And like it was their first grandchild on both sides.
Oh my gosh.
So like, I'm like, no, I don't care what the doctor says, honestly. Like,
Right.
I have to have my parents come see their.
Yeah, if that would have been my dad
Alice.
would have been like, I'll die before I like can't see my first grandchild.
Like I would have been devastated.
Yeah.
So like they wore gloves and a mask and held him. I know.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's
It's
pretty.
okay. That was the worst part of it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until during the fall it kind of let up a little bit, I think.
Yeah. I mean, kind of you're inside with a newborn anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be a little bit of a benefit, I guess, but not really.
It was at least during the summer, and I went on a lot of walks.
Yeah.
I did a lot of stroller running early
Yeah.
with him. But let's see, so we had a trouble having him, and so we ended up doing IUI. So I qualified for the Olympic trials in 2018 at the Indianapolis Marathon.
Okay.
Actually didn't qualify twice. I qualified in Monumental in 2017.
Okay.
With so the cutoff then was 2:45. So I got in the 2:44, but the window to qualify hadn't opened yet. So I was like, okay, I just have to do it again, right?
Yep. God.
So luckily got it at Grandma's the next summer. So I was very happy about that. So then we're like, okay, now we can have the baby and then I can go to the trials. That time it didn't work out like we planned. So had to make a choice whether to like stop the process of trying to have a baby in order to go through the trials or continue to go through the process. And at that time I was like, I really want a baby. Luckily ended up getting pregnant and I was like, well, that's okay. I'll only be 27 weeks.
Only 27 weeks pregnant.
at the trials. I can do that.
Sure.
I'd hoped. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like no one knows how you're going to
Of
feel
course.
running
Yeah.
pregnant. So, but I was so determined.
And you did.
And I did it. And my only goal, so the goal was to finish the marathon, but they had a time cutoff too. So the time cutoff was 3 hours and 15 minutes. So it's like I just have to train for this pace so I can like be able to finish the whole race.
I just have to run a 3-hour 15 marathon while 27 weeks pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for me, that was 30 minutes
I know.
slower.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes.
But still, like, I'm just so in awe of you because it's I can't
was-
wrap my head around doing that.
Yeah.
So that was right before COVID.
Trump interrupted the broadcast to like talk about COVID or something. And that was like the following week when everything shut down.
Okay.
So like the trials just got in there.
Just got in there.
Yeah. So
Thank
it was
goodness
good.
for
It
that.
was really
Where
good.
were the trials? The first one?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah. So yeah, tons of family come, tons of friends come. So it was just like the most amazing weekend, most amazing day. All the cheers, because I was like visibly pregnant. So like all the cheers of people like seeing me, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
I had the best time. The course was terrible, so hilly, it was so windy, but that's okay. I just wanted to finish.
Get it
So
done. And you didn't
did.
come in last.
I came into like third or second to last.
I mean,
yes.
but like, yeah, you're like, okay.
Everyone had dispersed from the finish line at that point.
Yeah, I find it so interesting with Olympic trials and like the windows and especially like building a family. Because like you said, there were other women there too that
There
were
was
pregnant.
there's always lots of women like pregnant or like,
Because you
even
want to
the
get the time,
2024.
but you want to build a family and then you want to run in the event. I guess you just kind of, you do what you got to do to
you do.
participate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was your first trials.
Yes.
And then, okay.
I did not qualify for 2024.
Okay.
So the big thing with that, they cut the time from 2:45 to 2:37.
That's a lot.
It was a lot of time.
Do you remember what you did when you found that out? Like, did you, I feel like that's a lot of time.
That's a good question. Oh, so I was pregnant with my second by then. So she was born in 2022. So like right in the middle. And I knew like I only would have a year maybe to qualify and get that time. And I just like knew in my mind like I didn't really have a chance being so close to just having a baby and getting back into that kind of shape. And it was also during a period where Josh was deployed. So he was deployed for 10 months to Kosovo, and 4 months after Senna was born is when he left. So it was a crazy time in my life, and I was also so stressed and overwhelmed. Training wasn't the best either, and I think just all that stress got me hurt. So I was like injured for a little bit during that period. So I was just like surviving at that point. So yeah, it wasn't really on my radar. Like I just didn't have a chance to be able to do it. So, but it is for the next time.
Yeah.
time this baby on the right way.
Okay, so, gosh, 10 months. How many times has Josh been deployed?
Just once.
Just
that
once.
was his one and only so far.
Okay. And then how does that work? When do they tell you? I think you told me this when we met. Like, do they warn you?
It was close to a year before.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was already pregnant at that point. I was pregnant after he found out.
Oh, and so then he had to tell his pregnant wife that he's going to be gone for 10 months.
Yeah, sort of.
Oh, boy.
I don't really remember that moment. Or like...
You're just like, okay.
I think we were both kind of aware because they like have years or where if they need a unit deployed, like it's their year to go. So I think in my mind, we were both kind of aware that was a possibility, but not for sure because that year was his unit's year to be deployed or something. So
so it wasn't like
out of the blue.
Huge shock.
Yeah.
But still, like, man, she's 4 months old. And then Atlas would have been like 2.5 or whatever. And then that's so much. And so how did you get a double stroller? Were you doing stroller ones with both of them?
So no, I did a few in the double stroller. Oh, I have a good story to tell after this.
Okay.
This episode is also brought to you by Previnex. Previnex offers clinically effective supplements that promote longevity, performance, and everyday health. I'm so lucky to be working with Previnex. I've been taking their products since January. What I loved the most was that their founder, David Block, well, he's local, so I've met him twice, but he said, here, try the product and let's not do anything until after you've tried it for 30 days. Give me your feedback, then we'll talk. And I really liked that approach, first of all, because I feel like there's a lot of shady brands out there in this space. And so I gave it a shot. I tried the Gut and Greens Superfood to replace my other greens brand that I'd been using. The taste is pretty darn good for a green, and I've noticed a difference in my energy. So the reasons you would take a green are 1, for micronutrients and antioxidants, 2, for gut health benefits, so like digestion, regularity, and then anti-aging benefits. So some of that is where the natural energy kicks in. And I've said this before that I feel like I don't crave coffee quite as much. So I still have coffee, but usually it's after my greens, and it's really had me feeling great. So I take a slew of other products in the Previnex product line, but the Gut and Greens Superfood is one that's really low-hanging fruit for you, especially if you're already using a different brand. You can upgrade your greens and spend less than you're probably spending now as well. And you can use code ALLY15, ALLY 15, at checkout. That is ALLY15 at Previnex.com, Previnex.com. And Previnex is also a sponsor of our upcoming event. Thank you so much to them for supporting this podcast. And lastly, this episode is brought to you by Cure Hydration. Cure is a plant-based hydrating electrolyte drink mix with no added sugar. It's a natural, delicious, and convenient way to keep you and your whole family hydrated without the artificial stuff. I've been talking about this now for a few weeks, and if you still haven't gone and tried it, for Finish Lines and Milestones listeners, Cure is offering 20% off your first order. Stay hydrated and feel your best by visiting curehydration.com/AllieB and using promo code AllieB, that's ALLYB, at checkout. That's curehydration.com/AllieB and use code AllieB for 20% off your first order. Cure is great because it's made with high quality ingredients like coconut water powder and pink Himalayan salt, and it's rigorously tested to make sure that they meet quality standards. And it's also backed by science, which is obviously very important. 75% of Americans are dehydrated, and I think in the running space, we all are way more dehydrated than we realize. I know that I am. And Cure is the cleanest way to hydrate. Again, it's made with clean ingredients, 0 added sugar. It's only 25 calories a serving, and it actually tastes really good. They have berry pomegranate, strawberry kiwi, lemonade, watermelon, tropical punch, blood orange, lime. I have a hard time now picking my favorites because I like them all. But tonight I actually gave my youngest daughter lemonade with her dinner, and she did not even know the difference between that lemonade and the super sugary, awful lemonade that my husband will occasionally buy. So it's also for your entire family, and I have to hide it from them now probably. So again, go check out Cure, curehydration.com/AllieB. Thank you, Cure, for supporting this podcast.
Oh, I have a good story to tell after this.
Okay.
He went to school, and I had a job then where I want to say downgraded doesn't sound the right word, but like I took a smaller role in the company at Delta Faucet. That was more part-time work, so it was just like less stress on me during that whole time. And so I would drop Atlas off at school, and then I put Sin in the stroller, and we would go. That's how I would do the runs with her when I wasn't injured during that period. My favorite memory of last year, so you know the what's it called, the Monumental Mile?
So now it's the Monumental Mile, or the Indianapolis 5K and Monumental Mile.
Okay.
I think that's right. If it's not, then I'll edit over.
Okay, that's fine. So that's every summer, like, right? In June or July?
In June.
Okay.
Now it's on a Saturday.
Okay, yes, it was on a Saturday. And so I had done that race with Atlas in the stroller and won the community mile, I believe. And it was
I've
cute
totally seen you. I've seen you do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you there at the start line with your girls.
Yeah.
I think both times.
Yeah. I drag my whole family to that every year.
You do. Yeah. And so I did that with the double stroller this time last summer and won as well. So I don't have a triple stroller though.
What was your mile time?
Like 6:03 or something, 6:07.
Okay.
Double stroller.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Could I even run a 6:07 mile without a stroller?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I felt
I've never really tried
because there was a guy in front of me for a while, and then like he just kind of
faded, and you're like
really hard. Like, sorry, I'm passing you.
Sorry, you're getting beat by a stroller. That has to feel kind of good though. Too.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of fun.
Look at me.
One of my favorite parts about running is like being a really like strong woman runner and passing men, and then like doing a double take. Those are my favorite moments.
That's the best.
Like, what are you doing here?
You're like, wait a minute, you're a girl. What's going on?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I know, it's always fun.
Do they ever say anything to you? I mean, good things. I would imagine they'd be like,
I always get,
amazing.
Like, it's either they don't say anything at all, which is probably the ones
because they're probably crying
like,
inside.
Yeah, those are the ones that are like, ugh. And you know, men always start way faster than they should. I feel like that. You know, they have this idea in their head, and they just.
I love that we're recording this on International Women's Day too. By the way.
I know. I thought about that earlier.
Booyah! Sorry, dudes.
And then others, like in big races, like if they see women, like they're big encouragers. So I've gotten both.
Yeah.
Nothing anything mean though.
That's good. Well, that would be. I mean.
Yeah, that would be rude. Like.
F you.
Runners
lady.
are usually really nice and helpful. So.
How does that work with like? I don't know if this is gonna sound dumb, but we're gonna try it. So when you're really fast as a female, you like mix in with a lot of guys that are like, let's call it like fast to average fast. Like, how do you make these like agreements on like working together during a race? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it's just all instinct, honestly.
It's so weird to me because I don't have any of that instinct.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like when you watch like the elites, like you trade who's drafting or like who's behind.
Okay,
or, like,
I've had a few experiences where there's like chatter. So like at Grandma's Marathon in 2018 when I qualified, there was a big group of women trying to get the qualifier, and so that was awesome. Like just being in that group, like we're all going after the same goal, all working together. We're not really competing against each other. And then there's men like kind of pacing us and in the middle, and like they're like, "What time are you guys going after the qualifier?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I'm going that pace too." So like. That's really
like how
that's
can we
really
help?
when running is awesome too, when it's like a group of women working together to get a goal.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And then like you're complete strangers at the end though. Like I hugged everyone that I was like running with. I'm like, oh my gosh, we did it! It was an awesome experience.
How many women qualified at Grandma's that year?
I don't
a lot?
remember. Not like not like the CIM one that has that photo finish of tons of women coming in before the mark.
Oh,
but,
right.
Like, I don't know. There's a good handful.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I just talked to Rob Jackson, as you know, and he mentioned during our conversation that he like was helping somebody who was going for the time, and I just thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. I've never really experienced going fast enough for anybody to like work with me on that, so I just find it so interesting, like the strategy there of like how, you know, he was like, yeah, I didn't really, you know, I was going to shield them from the elements or whatever. If they were working towards this, if I could help, that'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've just never, that thought never really crossed my mind.
Yeah,
so
I would say
cool.
the only time is like being able, if like a windy day or the weather's bad, like having a man right there to tuck in behind is very nice, and they don't usually care. They're like, I can't help them if I was like in front of them, like I wouldn't be doing
I'm not going to
much
block
anyway.
anything, so it's fine that I'm here, right? Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I always find that interesting. Like, I don't know, I've been in a couple races where I like meet a stranger and like we don't even speak and we're just like running together.
That's the best.
It is really the best.
Have, like a hidden like
bond
here,
where you're like, I know that we're just like,
you're just going
after it together. Yeah. It's really special. Okay. So what other marathons have you done?
So I've done, let's see, we've already mentioned Monumental. I've done Carmel a few times, 2 or 3 times. Done Twin Cities. I've done Chicago twice.
Okay.
Boston once. Oh, Boston's a great story because, I did that in 2018 during the horrible weather year. But I also had the most amazing experience ever. So
that's crazy.
My time at that point qualified me to be in the elite field. You have the pros and the sub-elite field, but that group starts together.
Okay.
So I got to ride in the fancy bus down to the church.
Oh, the church.
Where
I've
they
heard that's a
hold
special
all
place.
It was very interesting. So it's not like heated or anything, but it's warmer than, especially on that day, it was warmer than being outside.
Yeah.
But like I remember a lot of all the pros had done this many times before, and so I remember Molly Huddle was there, and like they when we got in the church, they immediately like went to, there's like an upstairs and a downstairs. They went like into their rooms, like they knew which room was theirs. Like I remember Molly Huddle going into like a room to be by herself, and I'm like, I do not want to bug anyone. I'm just gonna like,
you're just like, I'm just gonna stand here and just be in awe.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
This.
It was amazing. Like Shalane Flanagan ran that year. Oh, it was the year Des won.
Right. Yeah, it was the Des year. That's what the shitty weather Des year.
Yes, but yeah, we all walked out to the start line together.
Are you just like, hi?
And I was on TV for like a quick second. And apparently, so my family was in the hotel watching. And like, they start the elite women first. First. And so I was like in the front with everyone. So
you're like the very, very front.
Okay, so I was not, but I ended up there somehow.
I feel like that'd be so awkward to be like, it's already awkward enough in corrals.
Oh yeah, no, I was like in the back because I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not going to be like on the very front. So wait,
but then I somehow ended up in the front. They went really slow, like 7-minute mile the first.
Really slow.
Okay. When they ran 5:30, 7 minutes was slow at that time. Yeah. So like, I was like, why is everyone going so slow?
Yeah.
So I ended up in the front. Not that I was like going to like act like
right.
I wasn't going to be one of those people that like sprints in front to get
on TV. Yeah.
No. I was embarrassed enough for how I was like at the front of the TV screens. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was a good story. And that marathon, it was just for the experience and running to finish because I think I just done Carmel or something.
Well, yeah, probably because Carmel is right before Boston.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. So yeah, Boston was just for fun for me. And like then too, I was just trying to finish because it was so cold. It was
that sounds awful.
Most
what did you
cold
wear?
I've ever been. I think I wore long sleeves. I don't think I wore pants. I wore arm sleeves.
Okay.
And a singlet. But like there was nothing you could have worn.
I'm just like cold just thinking about it.
It was like so cold, windy, and snowing / rain.
Yeah, that's pretty much the worst weather you could order for a marathon.
Yeah. It was awful.
So are you just have so much trauma from that you just haven't gone back to Boston or?
No, I definitely want to like go back and like feel like I experienced it all because in that moment it's just like I just want to get to the finish line. I have no idea what's going on around me. Like I had no idea when I was going up like the big hills, like I was just like trying to get to the finish line. Yeah. So like I want to go back and be able to experience like the full course and take it all in for sure. So maybe next year.
Okay. And when you were running, are you alone with like a handful of people? I feel like the average runner, like I'm in like a sea of everybody, but what is it like for you?
Thing. Okay. So I'll give my perspective on this. So yeah, on that, when the women elite go, it's just that small group of women, like, I don't know, 20 to 30, if that. And yeah, I was by myself the whole time, honestly. Yeah.
That'd be so weird.
It was, yeah, I feel like if you're used to being in the big crowds in a major, like being by yourself would be really weird.
Yeah.
And that was like, I had done Chicago, I think, before that. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it was just kind of normal at that point in time.
It's wild.
But then, So last fall I ran Chicago. That was my last marathon I ran. And they have the American Development Program, which starts like a minute before like the first wave starts.
American Development Program. What I don't know what that means.
So it's like sub-elite women that you can get into it. So it's not but you start, so Chicago, everyone starts together, like all the pro men, the women, and the American Development Program starts together, like a minute before the wave one starts.
Okay.
So that just means like you get up, you get your own tent in the morning, and then you can start with that group of people, so it's less crowded. So I did do that one year, but I did not do it. I didn't have a time to apply for it this last year, but I also didn't want to because, again, I put too much pressure on myself and the years before, and this was like, that last fall was just like my first marathon back from having Senna, honestly. So it'd been 2 years, and I trained really hard, and first year in super shoes, and I was like, it was like kind of like my first marathon all over again.
Right.
Like I was just like, I don't know what to expect. I know I'm in really good shape, but I just like want to have fun doing a marathon again because it had been so long. Yeah. And I just want to run it and not hit the wall. Like I want to feel good from start to finish. Yeah. So that was my goal, and I was honestly the best. I felt so good until like mile 23 or 24. And it was just like my legs, I was just tired at that point. Not that like I was hitting the wall or anything. So it was just a great experience, but I liked being in the main crowd because it felt less pressurized.
Right, yeah.
And there was you're running by yourself. People, like I wanted the atmosphere of a major where there's lots of people around you. There's always someone to run with. And so that just felt really good at that time. Yeah. And I'm glad I did it. Yeah.
So how many total full marathons are you up to?
That's a good question. I've paced a couple too. I've paced at Monumental twice.
All right.
I've done a few.
What pace group?
3:15.
Okay. Right.
Did I do 3 hours?
Probably.
Oh, yeah, I did do 3 hours this last fall after Chicago. I did 3 hours.
So amazing.
I don't know how many, honestly. I haven't totaled up. Over 10, but not more than 20.
Okay. See, I have a spreadsheet. I'm just surprised that you don't have a spreadsheet.
I could look. I mean, I can find out by looking at my training peaks or like ask Coach to total them up.
Yeah, he probably knows. You're like, how many races did I do?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So. And then do you like the half marathon distance too? Do you do halves? What's your favorite?
I like halves. Half marathon's never been my main goal. It's always been like on the way to a marathon.
Okay. Yeah.
Usually. So I like them, definitely. Like I did the women's half marathon in Carmel.
Oh, yeah.
For the first time last fall, and that was a lot of fun. And again, I was building up to Chicago, but hadn't raced like a good half marathon in a while, so I thought I could PR.
How did that go?
I did, so yeah, it was fun.
Where'd you finish? I feel like I should have seen you or remembered.
I was like second or third place women. Yeah.
All right.
No, I was second. Yes, I was second.
Okay, I totally saw you there.
Yeah, because you got like
somebody
that race is fun because you get a whole bunch of cool prizes.
Yeah, do you remember when somebody broke one of the glasses?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You were there.
I was there.
Okay.
I was right there. I helped clean it up because I was like, oh God. Somebody was giving the age group awards and like one of them shattered everywhere. And I was like, oh, it's not good. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really fun race too.
This is like the fastest conversation I've ever had to have.
The
Kelby.
Fastest?
No, because like we don't have, I could talk to you for another hour, but I can't.
I know.
Which is annoying. We should do a part 2 sometime.
Cool. Yeah.
But I want to make sure people who are here in this room with us can ask you questions too. Yeah. Because obviously I've been hogging you. So Lena asked, what are your dream races?
It's a really good question. All marathons, probably.
All of them.
New York City. Like, these, I would say these aren't like ones I would go to for like a time, but just to experience. I feel like the ones where I would get a time would be the ones I've PR'd before, which is like Grand Miles or Chicago or Monumental. So like going and experiencing all the majors would be awesome. Like New York City would be number 1 on my list. I'll probably do Boston first again to experience that again so I can have a redo. Then New York City, I've heard some people like it even more than Boston. And then from there, I really want to go international. So I would love to do London and Tokyo. I've heard Japan is an awesome place to visit, so I think it'd just be cool. Like,
Jennifer Connor.
Mostly it's like traveling, like finding a marathon as an excuse to travel somewhere.
Okay, that I love so much. That's what
like
I'm about.
I feel like I would travel less, honestly, if I didn't like have a race I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Be like, Josh, I want to do this, and he'll be
Yeah.
like, okay,
Let's go there.
We'll make a trip out of it
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would love to go to Australia too.
Yeah,
I think
Sydney.
and now the Sydney's one.
Yeah.
So like that's
Yeah.
a really good excuse to go to Australia.
Yeah, I
But
told
I also
you.
don't want to do the plane ride either. So Josh has been there twice without me.
Oh,
Once he was like there for a month, like in the outback camping,
for fun?
like with gigantic spiders.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Sorry, for the Army.
Okay, for the Army.
Yeah,
for
it
work.
was a training thing. And then
Jeez.
he has been to Sydney, and they went up. What's the bridge there?
The Harbor Bridge.
Okay, he climbed up the bridge.
Making
So-
sure that was correct. I did that when I went there
Did
a very
you?
long time ago,
Oh my
but yeah.
gosh, that's
yeah.
amazing. So.
Yeah, my oldest daughter's Sydney. I think I told you that. And so I want to take her to Sydney.
Oh yeah, that's
And run
right.
Sydney
Of course,
someday.
you should.
But it's hilly, I hear.
Is
Christy
it?
tells me.
Oh, it doesn't matter though.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
just
Whatever.
Go in there
Just,
to run it.
yeah, just go to
Yeah.
run. You know. What other questions do you guys have? Take us through a morning before you run.
So, good thing about my job right now is I work from home and can work pretty flexible. So, I drop my kids off at school at 9 a.m. That's when their school starts. And then I usually go for my run at lunch. So, like I said, I don't remember or how I did it. We're getting up so early in my early working year. Probably was young and dumb and like
Yeah, I did
didn't
that
have
too.
anything else to do.
Yeah.
Like literally I just
No
I
kids that
remember
you would
like
wake up?
before kids is like what did I do before kids? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Just ran and worked, I guess. Yeah, I run. Most of my runs are during lunch unless I have something going on that day. I will get up in the morning. But for workouts, it's really good to be able to run during lunch. So I'll have my breakfast and then I'll have like a small snack before I go out and run because by then I'm starting to get hungry for lunch.
Yeah.
And I won't feel as good if I don't eat something.
Yes.
So have a snack, go for my run around my neighborhood-ish. And then, yeah.
Do you have a treadmill?
That's it. I do have a treadmill
Okay.
in my basement. Yes.
So
I
do you
use that a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like in this, depending on when you're training, it's like if you have to
Oh,
do
I
it,
hate
if you're
the
doing it
winters.
midday, well, and then in the summer, if you're doing it midday, like
Yeah.
that's
I would prefer running very hot in the middle of the day versus
really.
less than 10 degrees outside in the winter. Yes.
See, like
I like the heat.
Wow, I wish I did. My body
Not that I
does
like
not
it.
like
I'm not going to choose
Yeah.
it, but like
Yeah.
that's my preference
Right.
over a really cold time.
I think I would have to be really cold. Because then you can you could at least keep layering stuff on. When you're hot, you just like, there's like nothing you can do. I feel like it's
I just feel like I work so hard when I sweat a lot.
Yeah, I do like sweating because I feel like if I don't
Yeah.
sweat, it's not worth my
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah,
So.
that sounds bad, but that's how I am. Okay, what else while we have a few minutes? Whitney, what is your go-to mindset strategy for when things get hard?
Okay, it's a really good question. So I would say it's taken me a while to develop. My mentality in my beginning marathon years was definitely not as strong. Like I said, my first marathon it went so well. Like I just thought that's how every marathon would go. And I would keep getting faster if I just trained harder and did more miles. And I did. That's what happened my second marathon. It was hard, but like I got better and it felt okay. So I was like, okay, third one, I'll do even more miles and get faster. And again, I didn't have any kids, so I was just like running all the time and I just ran way too much. And by the time like marathon race day came around, I was just way overtrained and tired going into the race, and it did not go well. And I didn't have a good mindset because I was very hard on myself and really disappointed. It was very hard, even though the time, it wasn't like a terrible time, but I was like, I expected more of myself. I'm very hard on myself. I'm sure lots of people are. Expect good things, especially when you work so hard for something. That's when it becomes really hard. So I just had to take a really deep lesson from that. Like I need to control my training and also like learn to embrace failure a little bit more and learn from it. I was still hard-headed at the time and just like I'll just jump into another one right away so I can redeem myself. But now like after kids, like I don't have as much time to focus on just thinking about running all the time, and I think that's the biggest thing that has helped me honestly like find that balance between wanting to do really well in running but also like focusing on other things in my life and having fun doing it and not being so hard on myself. Because now after kids, it's like you got to find the time and you're also taking time away from the kids. So like I want to take that time, have fun doing it as my break from taking care of the kids, but also like use that time to work hard as well to go after my goals. I guess when it gets hard during races, now I've really embraced this idea that I've worked so hard in order to be able to do this. This is what I've trained for. Like when I'm at like mile 22 and everything has gone well to that point, and I'm starting to feel that pain, just like the pain in a workout. Like you did that workout because you know at that point in a race you're going to feel that same type of pain. Not pain, but exertion. And pain. So I just like so I just like remind myself, like, I did all this training because I knew at this moment this is how it was going to feel, and I finished those workouts, finished strong, and I just got to keep going because I worked so hard for this. Like, this is the moment I got to put that training into place, and then whatever the outcome is, like, I just got to move on at that point. Like, if it's great, I'll celebrate. If it's not, my kids don't care either. Like, no one really care. Like, you know,
Did you win,
say
Mom?
that, like,
yeah.
No, they've asked that for sure.
But sometimes you say, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And they still aren't like that impressed. They're probably just like, they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But then like, yeah, I mean, no one cares as deeply as you do yourself. And so it's just reminding that like life just goes on, and I'm not a pro runner. Like, don't get paid for this either. So yeah, I just get through it.
That's a really good answer. All right, well, it's 5:00, so I have to ask you the end of the podcast questions, which is sad.
Fun.
Which you kind of already just alluded to. I think when we talk about mindset, it goes hand in hand with mantras. But what's your favorite running song and or mantra? Yeah,
so all my runs, I usually listen to podcasts. So I'm not like I like music, but I'm not like, know a lot of songs. Just like whatever pumps me up or has a good beat is good.
Yeah.
So mantras, like I said, when it gets hard, like I think about, I train for this. This is what I've been working so hard for. Like, I just got to keep going, because also I don't want to have any regrets after the race. And I've had lots of moments where I'm like, I could have pushed harder. You always think you could have pushed harder, but like, you really got to like think about, when I cross the finish line, I want to know that I put in the best that I could do.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I say to my kids too. Like, just try your best. Okay, if you mess up, you just got to try your best and put your effort into it. So that, and then during college, I came up with this saying, I am fast, I am strong. And so when I would also have hard moments, if I just like repeated that in my head when it was getting hard, like it takes those negative thoughts away for a little bit. So you're not so focused on the negative, and like you just like channel, like, I'm moving fast, I'm strong, like I'm fast. Like, convince yourself that that's how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And like, if you try to convince yourself and channel that negativity is going to decrease at least. Yeah.
And then next, finish line and milestones. Yes. So you're 17 weeks. Did anybody look up the fruit? Nobody?
No.
What is your due date then?
August 15th.
Okay, August 15th. Okay, so that's a big, obviously, milestone to have your third child.
Yep.
But what about finish lines? Are you still running?
So still running. Like with both my first ones, I want to run for as long as I can. Eventually that turned into a walk/run and very slow. But I just like have to keep moving and keep active, because that's what keeps me mentally healthy. So I'm doing races for fun after this. So I did do Polar Bear.
Oh, that's right. How did you end up doing during Polar Bear? Are you laughing? She's like, come on. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
I got third women in the Bear, so I did the 5K and the 5 mile. So
that's amazing. Fun. Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's see. So I'll probably do something at Carmel. Okay. It just depends. I'm not going to sign up until I'll probably sign up for the half, and then if I need to downgrade it, I will. Yeah. So like I said, I just love the longer distance. Like, if especially if I'm doing something for fun, like, might as well just go a little bit longer.
Might as well feel good about it.
If I'm doing a long run anyway. Yeah. Not that I would be competitive or race it. I would just try my best. And then I did sign up as an elite for the mini marathon.
Yeah, you did.
Because I feel like, I mean, even though if I'm pregnant, I still worked hard for a spot. Like, I still have elite time. Yeah. So I'll just do what I can on that day. Everyone else can go in front of me. That's fine. But
I can't wait to scream when you fly by me, because I'm doing Ainsley's Angels again this year.
Yes, that's awesome.
Where you push.
program.
And so one of the coolest things about that experience is like you start the race.
Yes.
And then
I
like
always
all
see
the
them
people
go
run
off.
by. It's so
Yeah,
fun. So
that's
I'll be
cool.
there and I'll be cheering for you.
All right. Appreciate it. That'd be great.
Well, and Anna won last year and she was pregnant.
I know.
so-
That's what I thought too. I'm like, they've had pregnant women win before.
Why
so
not?
like, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
thank
not
you.
gonna win, but.
Thank you for being my first live podcast
Yeah,
guest.
this is so fun. Thanks for having me.
And thanks to everybody who had to listen.
Yeah. Hopefully it was a little bit entertaining.
Yeah, I have no idea. So yeah, and happy running, people
Yes.
who are listening. Bye.
Great.
If you enjoyed this episode of Finish Lines and Milestones from Sandy Boy Productions, please go share, rate, review. Again, you can find me on social media. I'm Allie, ALOY, Brett, BRETT, Allie T Brett _runs. And I really appreciate you taking the time to listen, and join me next week for episode 100 with the one and only Lindsay Hine. Talk to you next week.